Um, all right. So, first and foremost, thank you guys for joining the fifth edition of the Xofu webinar. I'm excited to chat with everybody today. We've got some really cool changes to the Xofu app in production currently. But I did want to mention first and foremost that the Xofu.com website is now has now received a little bit of a makeover, and we even have the demo of the tool live on the site as well, live on the homepage rather. So we're excited to have all of those changes sort of live, and we also I think are going to be pushing more changes to the website soon. So look out for those. Our newest Xofu feature in development that we're going to be talking about today, soon to be in production in the coming weeks, is the sentiment tracking for your brand or your brand service. Currently, this will be a paid feature for all of our users, and we'll have more details on that in the coming weeks as well. So just also wanted to let you guys know that we'd love any and all feedback about the updates that you're seeing today or anything else related to Xofu for that matter, and LLM visibility. If you just want to chat about that, we'd love to. So hit us up at info@xofu.com. But without further ado, take it away, Luke.
All right. So, like Michael was saying, our newest feature in Xofu is sentiment tracking for your brand and relevant features that pertain to your brand or service or offering. So, when you start a project in Xofu, you'll go through the normal steps, create your prompts, input your brand info, and then towards the end, you'll be able to enable sentiment tracking down here. When you do this, we will generate 10 features that are related to your brand or service. This is based on the information that we gathered above when you started the project. So if you pick a specific service page from your website, we'll use that to generate the features that we believe are relevant to your brand. You can have up to 10 features in your project. If you don't like any of the features that we generate, you can remove them and then add your own custom feature to track. You could do this for all 10 of them if you wanted, and you wanted to track your own specific list. But once you've dialed in the features that you want to track, you activate the project like normal. And what we will do is we will run a set of sentiment tracking prompts alongside the standard prompts that you've added to your project. And these prompts aim to track sentiment for each of these features across all of the selected competitors as well as your own brand. So this is a separate set of prompts that we run to evaluate sentiment and dial in specific scores for each of these features so we can build out a competitive matrix for your brand and your competitors. So let's go over to the dashboard now so we can see what that looks like. So this is the brand project dashboard after a couple of runs have been completed for the project. What you'll do is you'll go over to the sentiment tab in the sidebar, and this will open the sentiment dashboard. So like I said, when you start the project, we will run a separate set of sentiment tracking prompts, and we will extract all of the claims that are made in the prompt responses. We run these prompts through each of the 5 models that we're currently tracking in Xofu. And we will extract the claims, we'll evaluate sentiment for each of those claims, score them, see if they are positive, neutral, or negative. We'll take a weighted average of those claims based on confidence scores, and that will let us output a sentiment score for each feature and each brand. So this is the overview page. You can see your overall sentiment score for your brand, how you're ranking in sentiment, your score change over time, how many claims we're extracting, and what the split of those claims are. So this is positive, neutral, and negative. This is a time series that will grow over time as you get more runs in your project, so you can see how your sentiment is trending. There's a breakdown here of like a donut chart of the different claim types and what kind of distribution you're seeing for your brand. These are the top deltas, so whichever features are seeing the biggest movement in sentiment between project runs, you can view that here. And then a platform analysis at the bottom to see the top level scores for each AI platform that you're running. The next tab is the features tab. This is where you can see a simple bar chart and table of all of the feature scores and the claim split for each brand. So if you wanted to look at one of your competitors here, you can see how they're doing and look at their individual feature-based scores and the claim split as well. On the next tab, we show all of that data at once. This is the competitors tab. So at the top of the competitors tab, there's an entity ranking. You can see where your brand sits amongst others. We do a gap analysis to show you where are the features that you're leading and what features are you falling behind on. We enumerate the lead and over here the deficit. So the first row will be whatever your largest deficit or your greatest lead is. We show you your current rank. So for these deficit features, we're ranking 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, and then we show you what the brand that is leading those categories is. So if you want to know which brand is beating you when there's a deficit, you can see that in this gap analysis, and you can also see it in the comparison matrix at the bottom. Each of these rows highlights the brand that is currently leading in green, and you can also just review all of the scores individually here to see what's going on for each feature in each brand at a glance. Lastly, we have the citations tab. So whenever we do a sentiment tracking run, we are also capturing the citations when the LLMs use search to evaluate sentiment. And we surface all of those citations here. So these are tables. There's a domains table that shows you each of the domains that was used, and the top cited pages table. This shows you which pages are being cited the most frequently to answer these prompts that we're running. In the pages table, you can see each page is used to answer for different features and also different entities. So one page might be used to evaluate sentiment for multiple of the entities in the project. And then also the average score in both of these tables. So you can see which domains tend to lean positive when they talk about the brands and which domains tend to lead negative. Up here at the top, you can filter down to a specific brand and a specific feature. So if I come over here to the competitors table and I'll try and pick out a relatively low score, here's a 49.0, here's a 40.9, we'll use that. So this is pricing structure for Spendesk. And if I come over to citations and I pick Spendesk and pricing structure, we'll be able to isolate some of these lower scored pages, and you can do your own investigation and try and look into why is this page speaking negatively about this brand, and like what can you do to impact that. But this is a good way to target the pages that are being cited by the LLMs with a negative context around a certain feature for a certain brand. So it's a really good way to inform yourself about where these sentiment evaluations are being sourced from on the internet. I just showed you, but if you click the view button on any of these, you can actually open it up and see all of the pages that are being cited, as well as the features and entities that are being referenced by a domain or page. If I go back out to all brands, all features, this will look a little better because now you can see all of the features that are being cited by this one domain. So yeah, you can evaluate the different features that appear on different domains and look across the different websites and see which features are being sourced from where when we evaluate them with the LLMs. So the last thing I want to say about this dashboard is these filters up at the top will work across all of the pages. So if I go to competitors, I filter down to Google Gemini, for example. Now we're looking at just the Google Gemini data. You can see the scores for each of the brands, as well as what gaps exist and what strengths exist where your brand falls. And since those results might be different per model, you can do model targeted approaches to optimizing these scores later on. So yeah, that is the sentiment dashboard. Like Michael said, this will be coming soon to paid users. One other thing I forgot to say, when you start a sentiment tracking run, you're able to change the features at any time in project settings, and those changes will persist the next time your project runs and more sentiment data is gathered. So if there's one feature that you put in, but you're not getting any useful output from that feature in your project, since there's a feature limit, there's maximum of 10 features per sentiment run, you can remove one of those features and sub out a different one that you want to try and see if it works better for your project and figure that out over time. But that's all for the sentiment dashboard. I'll hand it back to Michael now.
And it's important to note, right, Luke, that these are separate prompts that we're running to get this data. And so the citation data that you'll see here will be actually independent of the citation data that you're seeing in the brand project. And we'll have more details on that as we get closer to pushing this live, on what kind of methodology we use to surface sentiment, and the type of prompting that we use too. So great job, Luke. Thank you. I did want to just send out a quick reminder that the next webinar will be on April 21st, next month. And for those that weren't able to watch the webinar live today, as always, we publish the content from this in our newsletter, and we also we also record the webinar and we'll publish that on our YouTube channel as well. So thank you all for watching, and we hope you guys have a great day. Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.